Logging into system.
Welcome back to another video of Geeks in the City. It's your boy Bondo 2D, and I'm joined by the
The man
man who
that
goes
the
housing
man who
tonight.
howls in the night. Get it
Oh,
correct. I don't hear any stuttering.
I mean,
A
amen.
woo.
Oh,
A
oh
woo.
woo. Arr!
Oh.
And basically having another video. This is gonna be something a little different. We are all fans of the horror genre. I feel like when it comes to geeks, but me and Al, recently played Resident Evil Village, the recent game, the eighth one in the franchise,
It's
following right after seven. Right.
it's literally Resident Evil in the village.
Yeah, yeah, it was funny because I remember like they first announced it, and it's like we're going to the village, and I'm just like, huh? And it just said Resident Evil like 8, but they put it like in the Roman numerals and it just said village. I'm like, oh, I see what they did there.
And they cheated. They it's VILL. So they were like, all right, let's put a little slash on that let's just hollow it out and be like, all right, this is 8. Let's just put it in yellow.
Yeah.
Put the letters in yellow.
I mean, the album, like the cover art looked really, it looked good, right? It didn't look. It was like, all right, this was kind of ominous. Like they made Chris and they had like the werewolf next to him, make him seem like he was. This game is about you.
Yeah, it definitely did make it seem like Chris was gonna be there for longer than 20 minutes.
Yeah, I was like, maybe he has like an overall like maybe it made him seem like he was like the main bad guy, right? Like that's like the whole premise of like the how like they released the trailer and stuff like that. But
He comes in beginning of the game, shoots your wife a couple times, and I mean a couple times,
yeah, but
and then you don't see him.
basically the whole point of this video, we're basically just do like a review, impressions, how we feel about the game, like the gameplay, the overall story, how the game looks. Just basically from our perspective, right? And since we are fans, there are some critiques here and there, but overall, I don't think the game is bad, right? I don't think the game is not bad, not by a long shot.
Oh, don't preface it with that.
Yeah, that's why I was like, there's just like I enjoyed the game, but there are some caveats, some minor complaints that I have about the game as a whole. But I think this is like a good game. I think it's like it takes place off Resident Evil 7. It's like really good. And they tried to incorporate like a lot of the Resident Evil 4 mechanics in this game, like but they did. Like I ain't gonna say they definitely did, down to a T. But basically we're gonna talk about the story first, right?
We're gonna talk about the story, yeah. But actually, before we start the story, I just remember, you know how you push the cabinets over,
Yeah,
to block the doors. Wasn't that in Resident Evil 4?
Yeah, that was in 4. Never in the village area. Like when we first started the game, like with chainsaw dude, and you have to like try to survive against the villagers and all that. You got to bar the doors and run around and stuff like that. I was like, wow, that is literally Resident Evil 4.
That is literally, yeah, that is definitely Resident Evil 4. But let's start off with the story. Junior, so you're sitting around with your family. You saved Mia. You destroyed the giant tentacle monster from Resident Evil 7, the final boss. That was kind of disappointing. It's 3 years in the making. You're happy. Everything's going great, but Mia wants to just forget that everything even happened. And then, right as things are getting sweet, right as for anyone who's actually seen the beginning, that storybook is super creepy. Did they ever reference the storybook ever again?
They actually do at the end.
Okay, I mean, let's leave it at that.
Yeah, they actually do at the end. It's like, all right.
And this is just the beginning. Anyone who's seen the trailer of Chris busting down the doors, shooting up the place, and taking your baby. Disrespectful. So all in all, you get in the car with Chris. He knocks you out, and then the car crashes, and boom. Now you find yourself in Resident Evil Village.
Ha 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 ha.
Ha 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 ha. Which is, ironically, it's very similar to Resident Evil 4, where you start off, well, not in a police car, but like coming from a police car in a sense.
Yeah.
Leon drives up. There was just no crows at the beginning of the shoot.
Yeah, it was just like it's weird because like in Village it's kind of like, I know the beginning of Resident Evil 4 is like the two cops and they drive with Leon, like, all right, just do what you got to do, we'll be here. And then like after that just sets the whole thing in motion. And then now it's like with the same exact car crash, like it's similar to it. Now either just by himself and he just goes to the village. I'm like that, like those two premises kind of go hand in hand, like how the game starts and stuff like that. But
And it makes me think about just how arcadey Resident Evil 4 is with how it starts.
yeah,
Because it's like there's no build up. It's sort of build up, but it's boom, you're there. Pull your gun out now.
yeah.
Ethan RE Village at least starts up a little slower, but that's Resident Evil to Resident Evil 8. Both I think were really good games.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about that. I mean, I guess that's as far as we can go about the story.
Yeah.
What did you think of the gameplay?
I could say that I enjoyed the gameplay to an extent. It takes like it's basically Resident Evil 7 at its core, right? When it comes to like the first person mechanics, with you can actually block in this game, holding out once you reduce your damage and all this stuff. But they added like the shove mechanic, so you like after you block somebody, you can just push them off, you get some breathing space, and pop some shots into them. But they took a lot of things from Resident Evil 4. Like the inventory, like you basically like the gunsmith and all that kind of stuff, which wasn't in 7. Like the gunsmith, you meet him and then he's like, hey yo, you can upgrade your weapons here, you can increase your inventory size, like plus with the crafting mechanics. So it's kind of just like they made it a lot more like 4, but I feel like that kind of got rid of the scare factor, if that makes any sense.
Although there is like a couple moments that are like scare.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
You'll jump if you're not preparing it. If you're not prepared, if you don't know the cheesy like sequences, the slow walking areas.
Yeah.
You go like, oh, this might be something. It could definitely catch you if this is like there hasn't been a lot of good console games with like AAA horror games that were really good. This reminds me, at the end of the day, this reminds me of Left 4 Dead. Where Left 4 Dead has its really good moments of like, oh, that got me a little bit, okay. And I mean Left 4 Dead 1. Left 4 Dead 2 is not scary whatsoever.
Yes, speaking of, tell me about it, huh?
It's
Left 4 Dead 2, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not scary at all. But it really had that good bit in between that, though. There's a moment to get you, to make you jump. Did you ever feel like you had to worry about inventory management?
Nah, not really.
Not really.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. I was like, I gotta buy a bigger case.
Yeah, it was just funny because I'm like, when you kill, because not like every time you kill an enemy, you get money for them, right? You get like a lot of money, and then plus, like you could basically just stockpile, and once you know where to find all the treasure and stuff, you just go to the gunsmith and be like, oh, let me just sell all this stuff. Oh, you have over 100,000 lei, that's what it's called, and you can just upgrade your inventory space and stockpile weapons, and I was just buying everything.
I noticed that there was no storage area. There was no box.
Yeah, there's no box now.
So I knew, I was like, there's no way that they're gonna make me pick between any of these weapons. There should be. Hopefully, I haven't played hard mode. I wish hard mode would like your inventory items are bigger now. Like the herb takes 4 squares instead of 2.
See that'd
be wacky.
That's like, I know hardcore mode is just like, you just take more damage.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all. It's just more. Did you feel like the overall gameplay loop was like, the shooting, like how they made it more action based rather than like horror based? Did you feel like that fit the game well?
It definitely fit the game well, because I don't know, the second you get a pistol, you kind of know what kind of game you're playing. It's not going to be this defenseless dude. It isn't Outlast where you're going to be running. You're going to be fighting things, really. And I don't think Resident Evil 8 ever came off as like, yo, this is a scary game. I think the gameplay was Resident Evil 4 and then Resident Evil 7 put together, just minus some of the charm. It was the same exact thing, but the mechanics you do with your gameplay was Resident Evil 4. But you're playing Resident Evil 7, which isn't a bad thing, because after your first actual, that one was, I guess, a little bit more scary in some sense.
Yeah.
When you do your first person Resident Evil and it slams that hard, I would expect this to be the second game.
Yeah.
Some of the horror moments were very easy to call for if you ever seen a horror game.
Yeah, you kind of know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, like rewatch anything from Amnesia, I feel like you'll know when an enemy's gonna come around this door.
It's dark. You hear the sounds. It's
I was like,
lit.
am I doing a locker moment with Resident Evil 8? I've never had a locker moment with Resident Evil. I've had a lot of locker moments with Alien, but
uh,
not Resident Evil.
I know we could talk about Lady D, right? Lady Dimitrescu.
Dimitri's crew. How
Big D.
how unprofessional. Neither of us got it.
Big D, bro. Like,
Ooh,
well, I know that's like the first part. Like, I feel like that part, like that first part when you get to the castle, is like probably the best part of the game. But it's the first part of the game. But it's the best. I mean, in my opinion, I felt like that kind of embodied what Resident Evil 4 was as a whole. It was kind of just like, all right. Cause remember, when you first started off, you didn't have like a lot of weapons and stuff, right? You had your
mhm.
pistol, and you had your shotgun, and like the ammo was scarce until you like actually know where to find like the ammo and stuff like that. But it's kind of just like you had like these, in Resident Evil 2, when you had like Mr. X, and 3 you had Nemesis, and it's just like you have like her chase you all over the place, and you can't kill her, right? You can't kill her. You have to run around and scrounge around and try to get around her and all that kind of stuff. It was kind of like, okay, they kept that mechanic in the game, which is actually really satisfying. But then that's not there for the entirety of the game, right? You get past her part and it's like, okay, and then everything just completely differs from what happens at the castle, and it's like, okay, cool.
the,
But
the overall way the game goes is to pull a little something from every horror aspect and put it into like a Resident Evil package. You'll find a lot of parts that are very, very, very reminiscent to other horror stuff. Tall grass fights where you can't see where the enemies are. Having a big person chase you. It's still good though. I still loved it.
it's still good. I know I feel like the second part is where people are gonna be like, oh, this is like the scariest because like you can't fight back, and it's dark and it's
Yeah,
decrepit, and
we pull an actual horror thing chasing you kind of thing. Let's. I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah,
yeah.
that's another horror aspect that I was like, okay, this thing. Every time when I'm being chased by something, I go, "Is there a table around here?"
Yeah, because where I can let me hide, bro. Like,
No, bro. Bro, I would go face front to them. I'm like, all right, is there a table here? All right, let me loop around this table. All right, see ya. Immediately. It was so easy to get past every single horror aspect that was here, but I appreciated that it was there.
yeah. What do you think was the scariest part to you, at least so far?
The scariest part, as you know, I haven't beaten the game. I'm very near to the end, but
Yeah.
maybe like that first interaction with a Lycan is taking a lot of shots to put down.
Oh yeah. I go there. That was kind of
I was like, whoa, you're actually the very first surprising part, if I can even get into a bit of like just spoiling the first parts of the game, is when you're just trying to survive and the big dude with the hammer come out.
yeah. He was kind of crazy.
I was like, whoa. Then you realize that it's not like a gun everybody down kind of thing.
It was kind of just like you just have to. And I know a lot of people who are new to the game will probably try to kill it, like to shoot it down, and it won't work. You're gonna run out of ammo, and it's just like, yeah, that's kind of a scrub killer, right? It's
Mhm.
like okay, you don't know
Definitely
what's going
scrub
on
killer.
here. We're gonna throw this at you. We people who know Resident Evil know that they can't kill it, but people who are new to the games are gonna be like, okay, I can shoot this down. Let me see if I can find ammo and grenades and see if I can whittle it down. It's just like, nah, bro. Then you waste all your ammo. It's like, well, I'm screwed.
Bro,
GG.
hold on. I think I did die at that part, but hear me out.
Oop.
I was definitely like, okay, I don't think I have to like fight these guys. I was like, okay, that's perfectly fine. I run across the river and I turn the corner, and then there's the big hammer, bro. I was like, oh, okay. I knew I had to survive. I was not expecting you as I turned this corner.
Mm.
And I think he got a good smacking on me. I was like, oh no.
No, I did get hit a few times.
And then no, it takes a lot to actually get hit. I think, geez, I gotta remember how I did it. I know the second time I was like, okay, here's a house. Let's close it. Oh, he can't hit the house? Oh, that's super easy.
I would think that he could bust down the house using the hammer. Easily,
I would think.
but
I thought he was gonna break the house entirely. I was like, oh, this I could just chill.
but
But how did you feel the graphics were going for you?
the the game looks great. Like, right, I feel we could all, everybody could be like, the game looks great. It looks the character models look great. Ethan looks different, but he kind of looks better than what he did in Resident Evil 7, right? Like, he looks way better than how he looked in 7. Like the Lycans, like the werewolves, the vampires, like everything in this game has polish. It has like something that's completely unique to Resident Evil, especially because they showed it in 7. It's just like they know how to nail these faces. It's like, wow, the game looks good. Like, it looks. I understand probably, you know, people on PC are probably living their best life with the game, because I know it looks fantastic on PC. It looks great, but overall, like, they just do a really good job of optimizing the game, just making it run well on everything, right? It's just like there is nothing here that I can really complain about when it comes to how the game looks, basically.
It was definitely, every part of it was, there was moments where I was like, ooh, that's gross. Like, ooh, that looks good. Out in the snow, I'm like, man, this looks nice. You see the mountains, it's like, damn, that looks pretty good. I was grossed out, and I could look at a game with some good water physics, and I thought, although there's not many times you're near water, the water looks pretty decent.
Yeah.
I think, like, some of the bosses' moves, be them like unblockable or something you have to like go under, like a specific type of rain, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I was like, whoa, this is cool.
I can't hold it.
I was like, do I just have to find something? Is it following me? I was like, oh my god, this is so awesome. Now I was like, oh, I just have to get under this.
I know there's you know what's really funny, that we never really see Ethan's face.
Never. You never see it.
Never see the. Imagine being the main character of 2 games and not be able to see your face. It's kind of just like, bro, come on, bro.
He said, I don't know what he looks like, but I guess he looks like he's pissed. Because Ethan's pissed in this game.
Yeah, he does talk a lot of trash in that game.
Ethan's angry.
I feel like the lighting, especially, like, you know, we go into like dark. When you go to the cavern areas in the castle, and it's like the dark, decrepit areas.
Oh yeah.
We first meet like those, like the. It was just like, and it's just like, you know, it's dark. You don't know where you're going. They give you like the most minimum amount of lighting possible.
It feels like Ethan never turns on the flashlight when I want him to.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, well, the battery died, and it's just like, what do you mean? Like, it was working like 5 minutes ago. Well, that's the whole point of the game, bro. And it's just like,
Ethan,
wow.
like, it's so dark down here. Please turn the flashlight over. Go on.
It's just like, I don't know. It's kind of like they know making something seem more scary than it is using the most minimal amount of work.
The boss fights in this game look amazing.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that this has over, I think, Resident Evil 7, is their boss fights look great. Although they're easy, you know, they're all the same in a sense.
Yeah, they're all the same. It's like, you shoot this, you shoot that, all right, you're good. And you
it's like everything's solved with a gun. There's not a thing that you can't solve in this game that doesn't have a gun in it. Each boss, I was like, okay, how gross is this going to look? How crazy? How giant are we getting? How nonsensical Resident Evil shall we go?
Yeah, that first boss kind of had me like,
yeah.
I thought, wow, this is the scale. This is what we doing now? Okay, never. They definitely made it super dramatic.
I was like, oh, this is why no one messes with you. Okay, I think I get it. Again, that boss fight. Think of going to that boss fight to go into the next boss fight that you go to with the dolls. Think of, like, you tell somebody you go to a dragon fight to a doll fight.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, what are you talking about? They're gonna be like, huh? Like
what? You don't fight God the next fight?
The doll fight?
Not yet.
It was just like, it was just more disturbing, because it was just like they all over the place, and it's kind of just like, huh, this is very uncomfortable.
I played some horror games with dolls. That was minimum dolls. They didn't even give me a jump scare with the actual dolls.
You play Little Nightmares?
Yeah.
The second one?
See, I didn't get to play the second one yet.
Oh my god,
I could play it. I was supposed to download it, but I definitely did forget.
There was a part in that game where there's dolls, and I was just like, and you know how Little Nightmares is. They like, it's kind of just like, it's like a steady rising fear that creeps up on you, and it's just like, oh yeah, this is that kind of just fueled my disgust when it came to the doll part. But overall, the game looks fantastic. Like it's
I
just
love Little Nightmares.
probably one of the best looking games of this year so far. Like honestly, like hands down, right?
Well, I Returnal looks kind of good though.
Man, hey man, it's Returnal.
Returnal looks kind of good though. But Resident Evil 5 definitely is up there. Some scenes it will literally have you go, hold on, let me use this photo mode.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Especially when you're in the castle and like you go outside and like you see like the whole village, like the snow coming down. Yeah. It's just like wow, this looks...
really. It is a bit of a fetch quest, the game though.
Yeah,
it is a fetch quest. I digress. But let's talk about that voice acting. Wow, man, I wish we had Burger. He's very more specific on who's
he is a voice actor.
All right, getting into some of the voice acting. I think the person who played how do we pronounce Lady D? We're just gonna call her.
I mean, you can just call her Alcina.
Yeah, Lady D, Alcina Dimitrescu, played by Maggie Roberts, and I mean everybody in the dang game. There's nobody's voice except Heisenberg. Who?
Why are you hating man Heisenberg?
Like, come on, guys! Like,
hey
let's
man,
go.
He's the cool uncle. Like,
cool. I don't know about that.
He's the cool uncle. Like, he's like, hey, he got the shades, and come on, bro. Remember Hank from Detroit Become Human?
Yeah. Oh, come on.
He looks like Hank, bro. You can't hate on a guy who looks like Hank.
But I'm listening because when we said something about the voice acting, I'm at the gameplay. How you go to every single trope of a horror game. Even his part where it's like someone's leading you via voice, like in a radio or something like that. They even go there in Resident Evil 8. They really pulled a lot of things from different horror genres and put it into Resident Evil. His voice, his accent, whatever the heck that is not the voice I want to follow in me. Anybody else's voice. I would have had the creepy guy be on the intercom for 10 minutes than him.
Yeah, wow, I didn't know you really didn't.
Not that he's bad. He's fantastic at his voice acting. But the character, I go like, this guy. I don't like this guy.
You know, weirdly enough, Jeff Shine, he didn't even voice Chris for. He didn't really voice Chris for. This is his first role as Chris. The other games he was in, he actually voiced Carlos in Resident Evil 3. But he sounds just like Chris. I'm like, wow, that's actually really cool.
Carlos was the long-haired dude, or the?
Yeah, the one that was always with the one that was with Jill, the curly-haired dude.
That's not the guy who fell asleep, right?
No. See that's cool, Veronica. We ain't talking about him. I don't want to get to that. I'm gonna get upset thinking about that.
Oh yeah, but Carlos. Yeah.
Being like his first role is playing like voice acting Chris. It sounds good. Like I was like it didn't. It sounds
like Chris.
Yeah, it sounds like Chris, and I'm like, all right, cool.
Everybody's a fantastic one in this. Everyone.
Ethan has that. Ethan sounds like a concerned father, right? He sounds like.
Sounds pissed.
He sounds pissed. He has like the desperation of I would just want my kid back, and you can hear it in his voice, bro. He's just like, why does this keep happening to me? Why am I here? Let me go home. I'm like, man, I feel you.
You're right. I don't know what Ethan's wearing, but I guarantee it's a button-up shirt. You're definitely right. You're definitely right.
He's just he's just tired. Like man, I left America to come here to get away from it, and I'm like, now I'm coming back. Why does this keep happening to me? I'm like, Ethan, it's all good, bro. Like, we feel your pain.
My wife, give me back my daughter.
But yeah, so far, like everything, even the Duke, the gunsmith, everything just sounds authentic,
naturally,
right? It just flows off. It's just nothing sounds like what's the right word? Fake.
Organic.
Nothing sounds like it's been forced. Like everything, like everybody's voices just feel like it belongs to the setting of the game, and it's just like wow, like did a fantastic job when it came to the voices. I'm not sure how I feel, but I can't hold it.
I love him. He did all of them did such a great job, but it's like their voices were perfectly depicted. Even like I said, Heisenberg, I hated Heisenberg, but his voice and him was like, this is super believable.
Yeah. I felt like it fit this character, yeah.
The little sludge monster dude, I can't remember what his name was. But voice acting in general, super sick.
Yeah, top notch.
I made a secondary conversation here talking about how badass Ethan is in this game.
Yeah, I feel like Resident Evil 7 was kind of just like he didn't know what he was doing, right? He was like, man, I just want my wife back. I'm gonna go to this house. But after going through the stuff he did in 7, it was just like, what more can you really ask for a man, bro? And 8 is like he can't like. It's just like, hey man, I'm here. I gotta get my daughter back. All right, but this ain't my first rodeo. This ain't
But
my first rodeo.
but there's a thing that there was no boss fight that was like Marguerite in Resident Evil 8 to me just yet.
Yeah. It wasn't. That was just gross.
That fight was hard to me. I was like, okay, I'm super low on ammo. It's super dark, and I have to find her. Oh no, that boss fight was one of the most annoying boss fights in Resident Evil 7 to me, but it was one of the best because
It was.
it was just different, but it was the same.
That
It
like
was
it had the embodiment of like having like the difficulty. It was just like it was being overall difficult because your ammo was always scarce because it was the beginning of the game. You never had a lot of stuff, but it still kind of kept you on your toes because it was kind of just
yeah.
like it's this weird monster thing with a beehive with a whole hive out of its you know what chasing you, and
It was like it's a boss fight, but it's still scary as heck.
yeah.
It's still just thinking about it. It's like it's seeing the boss. There's nothing like that I've seen in Resident Evil 8 yet. There's nothing like that that's super like this boss itself is.
I know what part you're on. It's just like I know what happens next is not what you expect. That's all I'm gonna say.
Whew.
So I guess do you have final thoughts on a scale of 1 to 10? Where would you rate so far? Because you ain't beat the game, but where would you rate Resident Evil 8?
I think Resident Evil 8 gets an 8 from me.
8 for 8.
It gets an 8 from me. When I beat the game, I know that there's probably gonna be something that makes me probably boost it up a little bit. Something good. But when I think about this game as in total, and even think about speed runs that people can do for this game,
Yeah, that's crazy.
I get a little excited. I like Dark Souls, so I think about like no hit runs. Like I want to see someone pull that off in this Resident Evil.
I thought somebody's gonna do it really soon. Somebody's gonna do it.
I think it's gonna be super cool. I give this game an 8 because it does fall on the generic side, but I don't think it does the generic very bad.
Okay.
I just wish there was a little bit more gameplay options like that Ethan could do, because he don't even pull out the watch anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't. No.
Doesn't even pull out the watch anymore. There's some gameplay things that I really wish that were added and inspired on, rather than just grabbing from different tropes of horror and it never fully giving me a horror sense. But it's not supposed to be horror. That's how all the Resident Evils typically go. It's now action splash horror.
Yeah, now it's action slash horror. So
just give me a little bit more gameplay with Ethan.
I would probably give it. I'd probably say a 7.5, probably an 8 too. Aside from like the ending of the game, kind of since I beat the game, I'm kind of on the fence about the ending a little bit, because like the route that they went with the overall premise of the game is kind of just like But Resident Evil 4 is my favorite Resident Evil game ever. Like that's like I put everything. Resident Evil 4 is above everything I played so far. I love Resident Evil. It's just I like the fact that like they kind of incorporated a lot of things from that game, because that was like one of the pinnacles of their Resident Evil. Is like everybody thinks about 4 and probably right now Resident Evil 2, right? That's like an iconic one, the remake, like the remaster. Like everybody thinks that game is fantastic, and it's just like wow, they did a good job. And plus like using a whole different protagonist, right? Like a whole new person, like not Leon and Chris, like they're soldiers, right? Like they're meant to do this. This is like
their job. They could figure out what they want to do with Resident Evil 6. So it was like let's just make it everybody.
Yeah, and it was just like they've been doing this for years, right? And Ethan is just he's just a dude. He's just like he's just an ordinary man, bro. He's just like I'm just a guy who's just trying to get his kid back, right? And it's like now he has to deal with all this all over again. I could see like the direction they was taking with him, like being like having like a more realistic stake on things, like when it comes to like their daughter and stuff like that. It's like, oh, this is my kid, this is my wife, like this is like that's all he has. So like I understand like with the story's really good to me, and like just the fact that how they portray Ethan as a character and how he had to fight through all of this to try to like figure things out. It's really good. Gameplay is good. The voice acting is really fantastic. So probably like a 7.5 and 8. Aside from the things that happen at the end that kind of make it feel some type of way, but that's my final thoughts on the game.
That's my TED talk.
That's my TED talk.
With all and done, it's an enjoyable game. Is it something that could have been evolved upon? Most definitely.
Yeah. I feel like once 9 comes out, okay, they already they're gonna make a 9, obviously.
Obviously,
it's gonna be a 9. But I just wonder to see what direction they're gonna take. Now it's like in a first person. They're switching the whole thing around, making like straight first person. And it's just like, all right, this now they prove that they can pull it off, right? So it's only safe to see where they go down the line and like how they improve on the formula and stuff like that. See if they add anything new, like you mentioned, like adding like the watch and stuff like that, to see what like incorporated into the overall game. But so far, Resident Evil 8, it's a buy if you're a fan of horror games. It's a definite buy. Feel free to pick it up for any platform, right? Any platform, doesn't really matter. The game is it's really well optimized, like wherever you buy it at. So, but that is our analysis review of Resident Evil 8 Village.
Geekz Review.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to us rant about this horror game. Feel free to follow us on the YouTube if you like it. Please like and subscribe. Feel free to follow us on Twitch also. We do our podcast there every Wednesday, and the Geekz stream separately too. Twitch.tv/owlwolf with a 0, and twitch.tv/Ashana90. That is me. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see y'all in the next video.
That shit was